Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Isya Salsabila Rahman. I am from Law Class B. I got an assignment from Mr. Tajul to read Unit 3 with the title Marriage Law Reforms. Major portion of the statutory personal laws enacted in the various Muslim countries represent a mere codification of the established law or act base. Unification of hitherto divergent legal principles. There is, however, no reason to deny the fact that certain provisions in these laws have introduced significant reforms in the traditional law. The principal reforms so introduced in one country or another relate to a. Marriage age for men and women and difference of age between parties to marriage. b. Role of marriage guardians in the fixation and solemnization of marriage. c. Registration and documentation of marriage. d. Monetary aspects of marriage, dower, dowry, and expenses. E. Polygamy and rights of co-wife. F. Maintenance of wife, family, and matrimonial home during the subsistence of marriage. G. Unilateral divorce rights of parties to marriage and grounds for judicial divorce. H. Post-divorce reliefs for the parties, especially for women. I. Period of gestation and its implications. Parents' rights relating to custody and guardianship of children, especially of mothers. K. Inheritance rights of certain close relatives, surviving spouse, daughters, brothers, sisters, grandfather, and descendants of predeceased children. L. Choice of the legatee, especially their eligibility to receive a bequest. And M. Validity, tenure, and management of family wakaf. Reforms in these areas have been effective, different reforms in different countries, either under the provisions of comprehensive code, or laws of personal status or family rights, or by way of sporadic legislation. The source materials for all the aforementioned reforms have been located by the jurists and the legislators of the Muslim world in the depth, divergence, flexibility, and richness of the legal principles within the vast framework of the Sharia. It is nobody's case in the Muslim states, including Turkey, that personal law has been codified and reformed merely to modernize or westernize the law. Nor have their architects, advocates, and exponents ever quoted any wholly un-Islamic source for any of these reforms. The motive behind and the objects of all this legislative activity have been, as told by the reformers, the need to systematize personal law on the pattern of other laws and codified, the desire to benefit from lesser-known and hitherto neglected principles and juristic opinions within the fold of the Sharia, the will to check misinterpretation, misapplication, and growing misuse of the Sharia law, of which there were greater chance and possibility in its uncodified states, the policy of nationalizing and truly Islamizing the law, and the urge to rebuild the society and conformity with the original, unadulterated social-legal principle of Islam. In several countries, the ulama have approved or have been closely associated with the reforms effected. At the same time, some of the reforms in some countries have been opposed and criticized by certain sections of religious leaders and scholars. This has happened in Iraq, Indonesia, Pakistan, Tunisia, South Yemen, and Turkey. On some occasions, their objections were accepted and the reforms, proposed or already effected dropped, repealed or modified. Mensurat Tahir Mahmud 1987, Personal Law in Islamic Countries, History, Text and Comparative Analysis, Academy of Law and Religion, New Delhi, pp. 11 until 13. Thank you.